I know you guys have done the Matic hackathons for the previous almost 2 years now, but this hackathon is a 4-day hackathon. And it's quite open on theme that you can pick with your team to build on. So today you might not be writing so much code, which is a good thing, but also a bad thing if you are not fast enough. So today we'll focus on UI UX. How do you come up with a design for your solution and the user experience? How many of you have ever done user experience, user interface before? All of you are devs, yeah? But also you have ever gotten designs to build something on them, right? So this hackathon for 4 days, it will give you an experience of building a robust, scalable solution by day 4, all right? But for today, you'll be judged based on your UI UX, all right? Tomorrow, you'll be judged on your front end, or rather full stack. How is your solution usable? The day after that, it's your back end. The final day, it will be infrastructure. How do you deploy your solution? Have you optimized the cloud? Have you optimized the pricing? And everything that comes with a scalable solution. Does that make sense? Yeah. So without further ado, my name is Michael Kimathi. I think we'll be 2 or 3 presenters. So I'll do the sector-based presentation to give you an idea of what Africa Stocking serves amongst the problems that face Africa, right? So that when you are building, you have the use case in mind. Then the next speaker will give you the breakdown of the hackathon again. So if you're on social media and all that, that will be shared then. And then the final speaker will give you now the interface of Figma, how to go about designing and whatnot, so that if you have never touched Figma before, you have an idea on how to use it. I hope everyone has set up their Figma. All you're just waiting for is to start now building on that. So how we design our hackathon is to ensure that in 3 to 4 hours, you should have something that is up and running. Also, I know you guys have been having judges after every hackathon, a panel of judges. So in this case, the stakes are high. Each one of you is a judge. So make sure you build something that will impress everyone who is also building. Now you can see how challenging that could be. So everyone has a vote, and they should use that vote wisely. You can't vote for yourself, but others can vote for you as many times as they want. All right? Are we together? Nice. So for those who don't know me, my name is Michael Kimathi. You can find me on all social media platforms, including LinkedIn. If you search Michael Kimathi on LinkedIn, you'll find me. It's my face. If you go on Twitter, it's M_K_global. Feel free to follow me. There's no promise to follow you back. But of course, I follow some of you who are doing some amazing tweets about what is happening. Of course, you can't follow everyone. That's is obvious. But if you are really tweeting something that actually moves Africa beyond, don't be surprised if I follow you to know what is happening. And then on Facebook, the same, Michael Kimathi, everywhere. I'm not so active on Facebook nowadays, but of course, feel free to, we can connect. At the end of the day, we're all human, isn't it? I work for Africa Stocking as head of developer community. And one thing I've liked about that experience is I meet new people. I see people build solutions. Like you guys have been going above and beyond in building solutions that also fascinate me as much as I'm not here, I really follow through on what you guys are doing. Maybe meetups, maybe fireside chat, maybe hackathon. And you guys are doing an amazing job. I came to Uganda 2018 or thereabouts. I was so discouraged by the tech ecosystem in Uganda, but I promised myself I'll do something, however slow it is, and we'll get there. And you guys have proved that there is a lot that could be done. We can reach out to more people and ensure that everyone has that platform to build. So, you guys are doing an amazing job. I can't insist on that more. Also, on Friday, I'll be giving a keynote around the plans we have for you guys to ensure that whatever you build really goes across the world and it's used. So don't miss that out, and tell your friends also to come. As usual, we love nerds, and that's why we have given you guys tickets for these events. So in case there's someone who is so sure they have the potential and the only thing that is stopping them from experiencing the whole summit, let us know and we can always sort that out. All right? All right? Yes. So let's get into it. So how many of you know what CPaaS means? CPaaS? CPaaS? Yes, David? Communication platform as a service. Thank you so much. That's what exactly it means. So Africa's Talking actually serves two main things. Communication is a communication platform as a service, any kind of communication, 2G, 3G, and anything else. And CPaaS, telecommunication platform as a service, which offers infrastructure to devs, to solutions that actually use Africa's Talking to connect to the telco. So I started in 2010 as an SMS reseller, but they realized actually the key solution is in developers, because if you have an API that integrates with the telco, then it helps you build scalable solution across the world. Even as of today, if you want to build on the telco platform, it will take you no less than 3 months. And it's a crazy process. You have to have a company, you have to go to their office, book an appointment, talk to different teams. Those teams have a meeting. If they don't like you, if they like, there's so much. But all you need here is an API key, set it up, build the solution, it just flies. All right? That solves a lot of issues. So that's basically it. And we provide SMS, USSD, voice APIs, and mobile data solutions. And of late, we are providing insights and chat API. So you guys are familiar with Telegram, WhatsApp APIs. So those are available on chat API, and you can always utilize them to build. So we have realized also people who use Africa's Talking at scale, they are segmented in sectors. And these sectors cut across, and there's some of them that you are able to map. There are 23 of them. So in this case, it's always good that even when we're having a hackathon, we're thinking about you guys building for those sectors, right? And here sectors, there are things like Fintech, HealthTech, AgriTech, clean energy, things like solar and whatnot, and etc. But we'll look at them and see how they implement this so that they can give you an idea. Whatever you design today, which sector are you designing for, and then improve that experience for that sector. All right? So feel free to interrupt me in case you have a question. So for Fintech sector, it's always growing because at the end of the day, banking is not yet really seamless in Africa. And you have seen, like here in Uganda, you have so many Fintech companies. You guys know Paystack? Flutterwave? Yes, those are African companies. Of course, they have subsidiary in US. But even when you look at it, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, especially in Africa. So there's a huge opportunity in Fintech. And one of the things that actually this solves, it goes in different ways. So you can actually build a solution that is country specific. For instance, in Kenya, M-Pesa is big. In Uganda and Rwanda and some other countries, Momo is big, right? So that tells you something. Those are different telco, different infrastructure, different approach to it. So for M-Pesa, the solution is just you can send money, you can receive money. That's it. Now, in that, there's so many complexities. There's security, there's communication, there's network outage, and so on and so forth. For instance, there's this joke that we say in Kenya that M-Pesa is so big that if that message does not arrive, you have not paid. You can see how that could complicate your situation really fast. So imagine you have gone to a hotel, you have had your meal, five-course meal, you have sent the money, the other person has received the message that money has arrived. It's like 20 minutes into it. It becomes crazy really fast. So that message hitting the phone instantly is very, very important. It's a between life and death, because at the end of the day, if you don't get paid, you need to take action, right? So it's very important. Also, to make sure that that message arrives in the correct format is also important. I don't know if you guys, I don't know what you call them here, but we call them committee message. Committee is a prison, it's like the maximum prison in Kenya. So those guys have perfected the art of sending fake M-Pesa messages. So they just know you have the code, you are and then received. So they say, oh, I've sent to the wrong number, please refund this, remain with this. And it's just a message they sent. Also, they have perfected, they come to your shop, they save your number as M-Pesa. So when you receive a message, you think it's M-Pesa, right? So you can see the complexities of that security. However, there are different solutions and there are different confirmation. When you think about the banking sector itself, the entry level for normal merchant is very, very hard, even getting a loan. So there are various ways you can use fintech solutions to solve for different countries depending on their different demands. Because if you think about giving loans, that's a whole process that requires repayment, it requires confirmation, it requires if the business is down, then you need also to communicate the same to the banking, the fintech. So some of the use cases is real-time transaction. As you have said, you need to receive that message on a timely manner. Receiving a message alone is not really useful, but receiving it on a timely manner. You need mobile integration. Remember also there are some phones, like when iPhone, I don't know which iPhone came in, it didn't have a SIM toolkit. And SIM toolkit, that's where USSD M-Pesa app is, or Momo app is. So without that now, you can't set up the SIM toolkit. Also remember now, Momo, M-Pesa, and everyone else, they're coming up with utility apps, which means they build a super app, and then the app that you guys build can go there. Things like managing the ledger, ensuring that you're budgeting well, paying the bills, paying the power, and all that. So they become apps under the super app. So you can only imagine these are 2G solution, but it's available on a 3G platform. So if there is no network, that means also you can't access that solution. So you default to the main toolkit app. So sometimes also the hardware could fail you to some extent. Then we have promotional campaigns where most people use SMSs a lot. And this means that if you want to send out the marketing, you want to communicate to your customer there is a promotion, like we are in a promotion quarter whereby Christmas is coming, you know, and so on and so forth. So you need to do bulk SMSs and whatnot. But also again, if someone pays, they can get a discount, right? And also there is what they call money back kind of promotion, where if you pay X up to a certain amount, you get some money back. There is a point where if you buy for, I don't know, 10,000 UGX, then you can get 10 points or 100 points, which later on you can actually accumulate and redeem them as a gift. Then of course there is customer onboarding and verification, where USSD comes into play, voice APIs. So if you onboard on fintech, of course it's a process where they do KYC, and then you provide all your details, your identification, and ensure that that detail is saved somewhere else. Also there is on the onboarding and verification, I don't know what you call it here, but there is what they call credit bureau, CRB. If you don't pay your loans or your credits in time, your ranking actually goes down. So they check that out, they verify, and then they give you the loans. Then finally, there is automated customer support, which you could integrate AI-driven chatbots via SMS or WhatsApp to provide 24-hour, 7 days a week customer service. And here you can utilize voice solution to even automate that process so that when you are sleeping, your customers are not suffering, and you can always find a way. Even when you're offering government solution, it becomes really critical to know what is happening in different places. So these are some of the leading brands that use Africa Stocking. We have, of course, M-Pesa, Branch, Paystack, Piggyvest, and Tala. I think also in Uganda, one of the leading fintech is using Africa Stocking. Then we have agriculture and AgriTech sector on Africa Stocking platform. So these offers tailored communication solution to the agriculture, and the services here streamline operation, enhance farmer engagement, improve access to crucial information, And also things like government subsidies and government support becomes critical on AgriTech business. So this is available in these countries and beyond. Remember, we're in 23 markets and growing, which means you can get this platform as long as you have connected with the telco there. So the key services used on AgriTech, there is SMS, USSD, mobile data, and voice APIs. And some of the leading brands that use Africa Stocking for the AgriTech solution, you guys are familiar with 1 Acre Fund? Yeah? It's also big in Uganda, right? Or is it Eastern Uganda? They're in Uganda, but maybe it might be Eastern Uganda. Yeah. Then we have Trigger Foods, Agri Wallet, Farm Drive, Hello Tractor, and so on. So the list is quite big. But you can imagine farmers, they don't have the 3G, 4G access. So for them, they have feature phone just to call the guy who is delivering fertilizer or the seeds or just taking their products to the market. All they care about is, can they receive their Momo payment after they deliver the goods? Can they get updates from the agriculture sector or ministry about the rains, about the diseases, about the pesticide, such things. So there are a lot of robust solutions that you can build around there. And one thing I know about the world, there are two sectors that you always rely on. The others can change in form and factor, but AgriTech and entertainment, those will always remain because people always eat and people always want to be entertained, right? So in this case, AgriTech becomes a vital place to build a solution on, and it's a whole process that you can build and keep scaling and refining. So, of course, as I said, there is weather updates and alerts in the AgriTech, agricultural tips from the relevant stakeholders via SMS, and then, of course, you have marketplace information where you can dial USSD, give a symptom, and then it does a ChatGPT search and gives you all the possibilities or the advice or anything that you need. Also, you can look for a veterinary if you want through USSD and Chat API or GPT model. Then you have access to financial services. Of course, farmers are the most subsidized sector because of keeping the food prices low and affordable. I know you guys don't have a food problem, but other places in Africa, food problem are really, really big. So even when you are thinking about it, you can actually share the lessons for Uganda so that other people can, manage their food issues. Then, of course, you have healthcare and HealthTech. And here it's all about, I see that it's talking about AgriTech, but it's supposed to be healthcare. But you can imagine how healthcare is important. One of the things that I've found in Africa is quite fascinating is if I got sick today, I will not know the closest hospital or the closest expert that can deal with my condition. Also remember, doctors are not just for everything. They are general physicians and also they are experts there who deal with different body parts in ensuring that your healthcare is good. So things like that could really mean between life and death. Also, how do you ensure that the communication in the health sector is flowing through all the key stakeholders? If there is outbreak, if there is a virus like Marburg or the most popular one in Congo is the one that people bleed, Ebola, you see. So if maybe that communication goes out to people, you save lives, right? And people know what to do and when to do it. And remember here now, you can even design your solution to speak local language, do translation, and that actually ensures that everyone gets the message regardless of the level of education. So you have things like SMS for appointment reminders, voice APIs for patient hotlines, USSD for health services, mobile data for health monitoring gaps, and so on and so forth. So these are available in all these countries and beyond, and already there are people who are providing solutions in these countries. Then we have, of course, more details on the key use cases. So you can do appointment, you can do service through SSD, and confirm through SMS. You can do awareness and education campaigns through SMS, as you have mentioned, for public healthcare notices. And then you can do remote monitoring of patients, like people who have diabetes or manageable conditions. If you don't take your medication at the right time, it can actually affect you a lot in the subsequent treatment. Also, you have hotlines in case you get a heart attack or you get, what else? You faint or you have epilepsy. Sometimes it's very, very important to have a hotline where you can call so that you can get the attention that you need. So in Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa, there's that coverage, or there are customers who are using us. Of course, as I mentioned, customer engagement, supply chain notification, and so on and so forth. We have people like Bidco, who use us in Kenya, Submiler in South Africa. We have Twiga Foods in Kenya. We have East Africa Breweries Limited in Kenya, and Dangote Group in Nigeria. Research, of course, for those who are in the institution of knowledge, research is paramount. So how do you collect research, especially using USSD? So there are a couple of use cases there that you can actually build for the research sector. So things are, of course, as I've said, data collection, dissemination of findings, collaboration across teams, real-time feedback, communication with study participant, and so on. So we have Africa Population and Health Research Center, APHRC, the Carter Center, International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, IITA, AMREF, World Health Organization, and the list keeps growing. We have media and marketing. For those who are marketers, of course, you need to reach out to everyone, and this becomes really paramount when it comes to this sector. And everyone is a marketer in one way or the other, right? Even when you're building your startup, you want to have that communication with your users. So you can use SMS and WhatsApp, USSD, voice APIs to ensure that your marketing is top-notch. And some of the key use cases is promotional campaigns. You have things to do with customer support using voice. You have subscription alerts using SMS. You have market surveys using USSD. You have audience engagement using USSD. And IVR, that is interactive voice, which uses our voice API, and so on. So some of the companies that use us: MultiChoice, the DSTV company, Standard Group, which is a media company in Nairobi, GoTV, which is a subsidiary of DSTV, Nation Media, and WPP Scan Group, which uses us. Then we have Clean Energy and Energy itself. In this case, we have present in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and South Africa. And we have companies like M-Copper, D-Light, VBox, Phoenix International, and Zola Electric who provide this solution. Finally, and this is the last slide, MFI, MFB, and SACCOs. So these are microfinance banks, and SACCOs, that is saving and credit cooperative organizations. And remember here, we are talking about low interest, more accessibility kind of solutions for the credit facilitation. So in this case, you'll find that this sector is growing really big for penetration, unlike banks and any other fintech. So what do we provide there? SMS messaging, airtime top-up, USSD service, voice APIs. And when you are thinking about this, think about at scale. How do you build this for 100 to 1,000 to 1,000,000 people? Then you have account management notification as a use case, customer support, emergency alerts, loan processing, and financial education. And some of the companies that use us is Musoni, Finca, Brank, Uganda Bank Limited, Jumo, and Leshego. Yeah, so I said that's my last slide, and it is, right? So we can go on and on, but at least you have gotten the gist of all the sectors that you can address. Any question at that point? Yeah? Has it made it more clear for you? So you're free to address any sector. From tomorrow, we'll meet at 4 Point by Sheraton. From midday, all the way to 10 p.m. However, Remember the other things that are going on there. So just Hackathon. Hackathon is just one of it. So what we'll do for you guys, you can even build tonight if you want, right? And then by midday, you are there. You register yourself, continue building. If maybe the speaker is not as exciting, continue building. Then there will be keynotes, which will take 2 to 3 hours, and CTO roundtable. I will recommend you attend. Then after that, you can remain in the main hall with your team building. If you want to go for breakout, they will also be there. You can also go for breakout. And the program is already now on the summit.africastocking.com. So you can say, this one I'll attend. And then plan your time. So we'll be there to support in the main hall, but by 6, people will start presenting. Yes. Every day. Every day there is a presentation. Every day there is a winning. Yes. And you can build one project all the way. You build everything. Today you build UI, UX. Tomorrow you do front end. The other day you do back end. Those are separate things that you'll be building. Now, of course, the rule of thumb is that we need to see how you have implemented the sector base that I've presented and how you have implemented Africa Stocking API. All right? That's the rule of thumb. Then, of course, for infrastructure, of course, we don't provide a cloud solution, right? But we will be planning to provide it through our platform and marketplace. So it is also good if you use something like GCP, use something like AWS, use something like Firebase or Heroku, right, to demonstrate your solution. So I'm done, unless there is a final question before I invite John Mwendwa to help you with the Figma and UI UX. Is one of the best designers I know in the world. So
my name is John Mwendwa, and I run a design business called Tiscos Kenya, which was started back in 2016. So I'm short but old. Okay, and that's my Twitter handle. You can, I tweet a lot of things, and those opinions are different. So don't go expecting much, but there's definitely something. Okay, yeah, and so I can go to the next slide, or you can take a picture. Perfect. So even if you search on LinkedIn, under that name, you'll still be able to find me. So we can connect there and talk more. So basically, I want us to go through it's a 101 session. Yeah, UI UX design 101. The simplest stuff for you to get you going, because today everything that you're doing is about UI UX design, and that is what will be judged in the evening. So in an actual scenario, you have 4 days. And so you'll be doing UI UX design. After UI UX design, tomorrow you'll be doing front end, then you'll do back end, then you'll do, I think it's DevOps or something, or deployment or whatever. That's how it will work, right? So I want to, how many are designers in here or have touched anything to do with design? How many? 1, 2, 3. Yes, so that's why we need this crash course. It's a very little one, and I hope it makes sense. Sasa? Yeah. So basically, a user interface is made up of your user interface elements, okay? So UI is user interface. Don't worry about where I've taken the UX for now, but we'll get there, okay? So, but in the simplest ways, a UI element can be divided into 3 basic components, largely. And then there are, in each one we can go deeper and deeper and look at a lot of other things, but we can look at a UI interface we can identify one by looking at input elements, output elements, and helper elements. So I'll just use this screen to briefly just make it make sense. I know you all have WhatsApp, right? Right? Or at least you have seen WhatsApp. So ideally, an input element, a simple example is when you want to text someone, you have to input text, right? So that is supported by an input element. The other input element in WhatsApp is when you want to send maybe audio chat. What is it called? Audio chat. Voice note, yes, exactly. When you want to send a voice note, you will have to click, hold, or tap and hold, and then record, and then you will send it. So that is also an input element, okay? The other input element that you can identify, for instance, in WhatsApp or on WhatsApp is another simple thing like how you upload your profile picture. Before it's uploaded, it requires an input field that you press, and then it uploads as a file, which is then displayed. Now, when that input is done, it needs to be outputted so that the other person on the other side can see it, okay? Now, that will be done using an output element. And that output element largely, once you send, it's previewed. So it can be chat bubbles, it can be accordions, it can be, what else? Things like, what are they called? Accordions, carousels for images mostly, mostly for your applications, mostly if you want to have images, and the images, do you know the images that scroll? We call those carousels, okay? So you can be able to identify them. And then lastly, we have helper elements. Helper elements basically are things that help you work easily with that application. And say someone has sent that text and you have received it using an output element, but we need to notify you, right? So that notification is one of the helper elements that you have on your application, okay? Those are some of the simple, so all these things combined make an application usable, and they make everything work to the degree that it leads us to UX, okay? Does that make sense? So when we combine these things all the way, they will lead us to UX. So UI is how things look like in the simplest way, and UX is how things work, okay? Does that make sense? Now, UX, I'll just explain it in the most basic way, and I'll illustrate it afterwards. So today, for instance, by looking at what you're supposed to output, yeah, the question will be, what will you be showing, right? So what I've seen other people do in the past, maybe, and it probably wasn't the most accurate, the best way to do it, was that they just shared images or screens, right? Images are not enough. Why? They are very static. And that's why we use prototyping tools and some softwares like Figma. Figma is a simple tool, it's free to use, and it's the one I'll take you through a very simple example just to see what is where and how it looks like, okay? So if you are an Adobe fan, you feel free to also use a software called Adobe XD. You should be able to do the same job, ideally. Perfect. So I'll go through UX in depth when I'm showing you what we have, how you will use Figma, and it's also going to be very little. And then, so that's everything to do with UI and UX in a very quick summary. I know you're noticing that this is a summary, but normally most people here, like a lot of developers, will always be like, okay, now you've shown us that, but I don't know how to work with colors. I don't know how, where do I get all these colors? Okay, where do I get the images? Okay, I need this font. So there are things that we call design elements, okay? And design elements are made up of, so we have looked at UI, UX elements, and now we have design elements, because everything you're going to do at the end of the day is design today, okay? So for useful links and to help you with the design elements, there are shapes. Shapes, basically, we'll look at them in Figma, okay? And how they're going to be used. And then when it comes to things like colors, feel free to take a picture of this link, but I will demonstrate how it works in very few minutes. And basically, you can find the colors that you want, and colors have different meanings. For instance, if you want to make, do you guys know Tinder? Or do you know Tinder? Who is on Tinder? This is the part where you don't say, yeah? Let's meet there. Great. So, for instance, if we had Tinder, will we use a black color really for Tinder? Do we have dark mode on Tinder? It takes away something, right? So when you're talking about love, maybe you want to express love with pink or red, right? So you can use that basic idea to generate colors, and they will just be generated by a click, and then you can copy the colors and use them, okay? So using this source, basically it will help you navigate that problem easily, okay? And then for things like images, we have a couple, but this is also a good place to start. It's called Unsplash. There's an alternative called Pixels, but it's pexels.com, okay? But I wanted to just pick one and just show it to you, okay? So for when you need images, this is where you'll find images that to support what you're doing, okay? And then finally, when it comes to fonts and where you're going to get fonts, because one of the things that makes your UI unique is fonts. And I know for most people who are starting, as designers, we have a joke. Whatever you do today, do not use a font called Comic Sans. We know you think it looks good, but don't use it. Yes, normally it's there on default on your machines, but it's an inside joke. But please, this is just my advice. If you find a font called Comic Sans and Papyrus, don't use them. Not that. Comic Sans and Papyrus. Don't touch. It will not work. Yes. I mean, you can use it, but it will not work. But I understand most of you have those fonts on your devices. How many people have changed the font that came with your phone? Even on WhatsApp. Yes. You see, some people like it. So use it, but some people like it. And this is an extra link, okay? And this is Google's, it's a framework that has been designed by Google and built by Google, and that's how all the applications are. And I would say, maybe go here if you're already a designer and you know what you're doing, and it will be easier for you. But M3material.io, it's also able to generate colors. And if you want to also understand something on how UX works in terms of interactions, it's also a very good place to start, okay? And so it's called material.io. So right now we are on material 3. So it has really developed over time. It wasn't what it used to be. And right now, when you generate, the beautiful thing about it, if you want to do a platform that has dark mode and light mode, this one generates the colors in one go, as opposed to the other one, okay? So probably that's why it can be a better option for you to go. But if you want to also learn more about design and everything, this is also a very good place to start, okay? Great. So that's it for that simple crash course. But now, let us look at Figma again in very few minutes, okay? And see how you will access Figma. So the beauty with Figma is that Figma is a free tool. I think you can have up to 3 projects for free. And it also has something we call developer mode. But this is basically it. So we'll just create a new file, a design file. So you can sign up and you don't need to install it on your machine. So you don't need anything that probably consumes your space, right? So you can just run it from the browser and it will work. If you want to, you can still install it on your laptop. So Figma basically is a very simple interface, as you can see. And on here, we have everything to do with your design files and assets and layers. A design is organized into layers. Say, for instance, and I'll demonstrate that in a minute for it to make sense. And then on this side, you have you're supporting things like colors and images and where they are uploaded. And if you want to share that design, this is where we'll be sharing it from, okay? And then at the bottom, remember the elements of design, the shapes and everything. This is where we have them. At the bottom here. I don't know if you can see my mouse. Can you see it? Or probably let me try but it won't help even if I zoom in, because that's just how Figma works. But let me just reset. So, assuming you want to do either a web or mobile application, right? You have those two ideas to do. Or even if you want to do maybe to do something for little devices like the watch, okay? And actually it will be interesting to see someone doing a project for the watch. I think that person will win that thing right now. If you decide to, no one has ever done it. You will win today, I guarantee you. If you are not going to build it, I'll build it and get that money. But then if I participate, will it be unfair? But you guys will win after tomorrow. I'm not a developer. Why can't I have it on for one day? No worries. Now, if we need to either create a document, for starters, there's this frame. You can also press F. Actually, if you're on Figma right now, figma.com, and you've signed up, you can just press F, and it will generate some items here on this side, right? If you can see that, you have frames for your phone, from here all the way, and you have tablet, desktop, presentation, watch, paper, social media, Figma, community, or whatever, okay? But now let's assume you want to do we do a mobile application or web application? Mobile, perfect. So are you guys iPhone fans or Android fans? Android. I don't care about iPhone, I'm sorry. So I'll just pick Android. And maybe I'll just pick Android medium. Oh, okay, Android is ugly. Let me just pick iPhone 16. Perfect. No, sorry, that's an Android. Okay. Now, basically with those two clicks, we have gotten this. And if you notice, the interface has changed over here, right? Now, we are just going to create one simple page for a dating application. Okay? And don't ask me why I'm talking about dating a lot, but I know that's probably the language you will understand, okay? Yes. Now, remember our link for the colors? So I'll just come back here and pick the link, and then just paste it on the browser. So you can see it's already giving you a couple of options, and for instance, it starts with gradients and everything. But now, what you want to do is to create a palette, okay? A palette contains a set of different colors, so you probably don't need one color, okay? But out of all those colors, you probably just need one. So in fact, we can just scroll somewhere here and just pick a palette here, and this looks. In the meantime, let us find a random logo, okay? Or I'm sure you will need a logo for your application. So I don't know the best way for us to create that logo. And since maybe you don't have time, and maybe you have a logo right now. If you don't have one, you'll have to figure out how you create one, or you can use online generators for logos, okay? But because you don't have one, I'll just come back here and actually still here, Figma, and create one. So we have the text tool somewhere here at the bottom. So I'll just press the text tool and just call it love. And then maybe for my font, I'll just use the default one. Default one, it's Inter, okay? And then I'll just go with, I may increase it a little bit, the size, and make it a little bit bolder. And maybe it can get up to that level. So that's probably I'll use that as the logo for now, okay? And then, so for instance, on most of the mobile application that you have, you need navigation. It's a very critical element, right? So let us introduce some navigation items. But one of the other things that maybe I did not give you as a link to explore on is that, say for instance, you need icons. Your WhatsApp, you mostly move around because of the icons, right? Not what is written on, right? So icons really help in communication. And by now, icons are in most people's heads. And when I just show you one icon, for instance, for the home button, where should it take you? To a home page, right? Now, there are very many libraries for icons, but one of my favorites is called Tabler.io. Tabler.io. So maybe for this one I can zoom in. It's called Tabler, okay? So you can check it out. And once you get there, you have 5,000 icons to use. So maybe here, let me find something to do with love. And let us use this one. So you can also customize the icon, field, outline, or all. So it's either field or outline. You can see the difference, right? It's field, outline is just stroked icons, and then field is just full icons, okay? Now let's assume this is the logo that I want to use, the love one. I can just directly copy. I don't have to download anything, okay? So I can just copy the SVG, and then when I come back to Figma, I can just paste it and it will just come in, okay? Still on the browser, copy, paste. You don't have to do much. Then I'll just throw it somewhere here so that my logo is complete. Are we together? And maybe because my logo, I don't want it to be black, I can just make it red. And somewhere here, it's where you have that color, okay? We'll come back to the colors once we've resolved that. So maybe let's say that is our logo. Maybe you can place it here or somewhere here, at the center or on the extreme left or right. But because this is my application, I will put it there. Next, let's say I need to pick a home button. I still come back to the same place. I have a home button, copy SVG again, and then when I come back to Figma, I just paste it, and maybe home button can be somewhere at the bottom, but because it's the main button, I want to give it a background for it to make a little bit of sense. So I'll just go back to my shapes. When I click on the shapes icon, I have all the types of shapes that I may need. So I'll just maybe pick an ellipse. An ellipse is helps you create either an oval shape or a circular shape, okay? Perfect. So I'll just put that like that, and then push everything back. Then maybe I can increase the size for my button. Then for this one, I'll also make it again red, but a light red, somewhere like that. And then for the same shape, I'll probably just make it red. Are we together? So that is our home button, and then I can introduce other buttons for our application, like where do I chat when I match with the lady, right? Don't worry, don't ask how I know all these things, I know. So I'll just come here and say, for instance, I need an application, something for chat or message, copy, come back here. This one maybe you're going to place it here. And then what else? What else can we add? Settings, yes, settings. Whoever said settings is deep on Tinder. So cog. So we call it, it can be a cog icon. So maybe let us just pick this one. But it looks like a flower. Either way. There we go. And basically, we have the navigation and we have our logo, right? Now we need to create a preview of where we are swiping the ladies. Either left is acceptance or denial. Denial. Now, you remember the images thing, right? So I'll just come back here on Unsplash and look for a good image, maybe of a lady, right? And for the lady, stop me when you see the image you love, okay? Yes. If you see something that you like, tell me. Let me just switch to free. Or can we just say beautiful lady? I like this. I like her. Right? Guys, serious. You don't like her? What's wrong with you? We go with that one, eh? Someone likes it, yeah? Which one? This one? This one? Blue dress? Or this one? This one? Hey, my friend, you are. So we just click download from here. Have we? Yeah, good. So I'll just download it. Maybe let me throw it on my downloads. Save. Then I'll come back to Figma and I'll have to create a very big shape from the shapes that is rectangular and say maybe this image will fit here, right? And so we have this image and we want to now have it inside this shape, okay? So we can either upload it separately, but the beautiful thing with Figma is that once you just have the shape, you just come back to the colors panel here and you are able to switch somewhere here between different things. It's either full color, gradient, what is it? An image or a video, okay? So you can also add a video. So maybe I just want an image and then upload from computer. I'll go back to my downloads and where is she? Did she download? I don't think she's still downloading. Let's give her a minute. She's done. Now you can just go back, downloads here and click upload. There you go. You can see she's come exactly how we wanted her, right? Now, this is how you preview. So when you're here, you can either swipe left or swipe right, okay? Now, maybe we'll not include a name. On Tinder, we are going to judge you by the appearance first, okay? This is our Tinder, this is our love application, that's how it will work. The name can be a lie. But maybe because of some people also have love names. Maybe she can be called what? Give us a name. She's your girl. What's her name? Sandra. Yeah. Who is Sandra? So maybe that's Sandra. If you like her, you can swipe on either direction, okay? Now let us assume that is one page that you have created, okay? But because this is too sharp, I want us to make this design to be curvy the same way everything else is, right? If you notice, our icon is curvy, right? We don't have very sharp edges. So we just come to this corner and just adjust a little so that it feels like it's one design. Are we together up to there? So as we finish, I want to just duplicate the same, okay? And then for our second page, let us assume you want to know who Sandra is. So we'll just reduce this design to somewhere there, add Sandra here, and then pick some text somewhere randomly, to maybe have it as a description. So I'll just come back to text here, then the same for text. We can reduce it to 16. So if there are little things about UI. If you want to use the simplest, if you want to write text for your website, the simplest text, body text, not titles, just use 16 pixels, okay? That works pretty much on any platform, and it will be visible. Yeah, 16 pixels. I will explain it, my friend, don't worry. So that is Sandra and her bio. Are we together up to there? Now, once you're done, it's not enough to just leave it at this point. Are we together? So maybe ideally we should have added some things, maybe here, like the chart and everything else, right, about her. But because of time, we'll not be able to add it. So after we have done this, we have done the user interface. That is just how it looks like. So let us just do a little things about UX and just see how that will work. So we need to switch to, there are two modes on Figma. We have design and we have prototype. Are we together? So now we'll switch to prototype and say, when you click on this image, let me just come back here. So when I hover on this shape here, you can see it has different points. Are we together? So I'll just come back to this point somewhere here and just say, when you click on this, go here. Are we together? And then I can just say it's on tap or on drag. So let us say on tap. Let's use on tap for now. And then navigate to, it's good. Animation, maybe let us use smart animate. Ease out, ease in, ease out. When you're done with your work, I'll be able to assist you on some of these things. Are we together? I just want to demonstrate it. And then after that, say for instance, you want to go back, you just do the same thing and that. So when you want to present your work now, what you will do, you'll just come back and click on, there's a play button at the top, right? And assuming your work is done, you just click on the play button and it will launch your prototype. So this is what we call a prototype, and it's interactive. Basically, it's an application you can interact with, but just images, pretty much. And then that is what you will share with your developer. So we said when you click here, are you seeing what is happening? It's doing the smart animation by itself. Are we together? Yes. So that is what we call prototyping, and that is what we call, that supports user experience. Are we together? Now, once that is done, basically, at the end of the day now, you just come back to your Figma file again, and you can just share your prototype. And when you're sharing it, say you're working with a developer, right? You can also be able to share it using a developer link. I'm sure you can sign up for a trial, I think, for Figma, and just use it. So you'll be able to just come back here and say, come back and share, and copy developer mode link. So once you go to the developer mode link, basically it already has the code for you. You don't need to do much. Are we together? So you'll just be able to copy the code. So not now. Now when I click on, say for instance, this shape, I am able to download it from this side. Are we together? And basically I can just copy the CSS. I don't know if you can see, but yeah, ideally you can see some code somewhere here. Okay? So that's just what you will copy and use. Are we together? So, but there are developers that will help you on that tomorrow. One of the developers around here has actually already built something with it. And pretty much that's the end of that session. Let's continue building and let's see what we come up with. Are we together? So that's UI UX 101, and I am done. I'm John Mwendwa, but I am done. This is the part where you clap.